All right, hello everybody. Hope your day is going well. Here to give you a quick update on what Marco and Laura are now expected to do. Both storms still expected to impact the Gulf of Mexico. Marco actually getting pretty close to land now too. Obviously, Marco not impacting us here in South Texas at the moment. Let's take a quick look at our forecast before we jump into Marco and Laura. So first off, right now, mostly clear sky over San Antonio, temperatures in the mid-80s. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. We do have some shower activity closer on towards the coast. We are going to have a slight change for a few showers and storms today. Much of this shower activity closer on to the coast, though, is going to kind of wither away as it pushes further inland. Taking a wide look at things, you're going to notice where all that rainfall is, closer to the coast, and then check out the northern Gulf of Mexico. There's Marco. It's almost similar to what Hurricane Nate was back in 2015, which actually made landfall in South Mississippi. It kind of looked like a half cane is what people referred to it as, where it looked like the top half of the hurricane was there, but the bottom half was not. Now, here's the thing. This is not a hurricane. Marco is a tropical storm. It has weakened a ton. And the reason why is because of shear. Now here's what we're looking at. Visible satellite. Typically you would see convection, or in other words, thick cloud tops right over the center of the storm. This is the center of Marco. You can see it real well. This is that convection, that word that I just mentioned. That's where it is. It's way away from the center. That's due to something called speed shear. Shear is kind of pushing, or directional shear rather, pushing the convection off the top of the storm, and with that you get the big look at the eye or the center of the storm without the convection blocking it. So that's kind of what you're seeing there. So this storm is an unhealthy storm, which is good for us. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see a healthy storm making landfall in the Gulf of Mexico. It's just a quick look at the temperatures. I actually meant to have our Marco graphic up here, so let's go ahead and bring that up. Here's a look at where Marco is. Exactly. You saw it right there as we looked at visible satellite. The system's still expected to make landfall closer on towards the mouth of the Mississippi River near Venice, Louisiana, which is actually right there at the mouth of the river. It's going to move over New Orleans. New Orleans located right there. And then it'll kind of make its way across South Louisiana, eventually moving into East Texas as an area of low pressure. So not even a tropical depression, just an area of low pressure, a remnant storm of Marco. Now this could bring a little bit of rainfall to our area by the time we head into Wednesday. Not expecting a ton. Obviously, if it was a tropical system, like a tropical cyclone, we would have a better chance for rain. But this system expected to kind of be withered away by the time it makes it to our region and just bring us a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity here and there. You'll notice where a bulk of the activity for the storm is, obviously well away from the center, impacting parts of northwest Florida. So the storm's moving north-northwest at 8 miles per hour, has 50 mile per hour sustained winds. Now the Air Force Reserve hurricane hunters are flying this storm right now, gathering data in their C-130s. And I want you to notice something, their altitude. Look at how low they are flying, 2,612 feet. They're not running into any big issues with any tall thunderstorms, producing frequent lightning or anything with where they're flying. So they can actually stay pretty low right now while they're gathering data. I mean, you think about this big C-130 flying into a tropical storm, and it's only at 2,612 feet at an altitude. Pretty cool stuff there. They do something called an alpha pattern. That's what they're flying there. You see the kind of crisscrossing. That's considered their alpha pattern as they continue to gather data. They're dropping, hold up, I've actually got one in here right now. This is a drop sonde. It's full of weather instruments to help gather data about the storm. Lets us know the location, lets us know wind speed, wind direction, lets us know water temperatures, lets us know anything that we need to know. Temperature, dew point, it's all gathered by this instrument. And they send them off from the C-130 into the storm to find out where the center is, that lowest pressure, where the center of the storm is, and gather the health of the storm. That allows these to be more accurate. And by these, I mean that forecast cone. that forecast cone can be narrowed down to a certain number of miles so that people know who needs to evacuate and who doesn't. So the work that they do, very important. You know, they're also flying Laura. Laura is still located over towards southern portions of Cuba. It's expected to make its way towards western Cuba later on today. The storm looked really healthy as it passed Hispaniola, which was actually pretty surprising because typically the mountainous terrain in Hispaniola really impacts storms. Right now, 60-mile-per-hour sustained winds within Laura, moving west-northwest at 20 miles per hour. So for a hurricane, it's moving pretty quick, or rather a tropical storm, excuse me. For a tropical system is what I meant to say there. But Laura's still a tropical storm, not yet a hurricane. It'll make its way to the western tip of Cuba by the time we head into Monday evening, so today. And it's expected to have 65-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Now, 70-mile-per-hour sustained winds by the time we get to Tuesday morning, getting closer to that hurricane strength, and then by Tuesday evening, a hurricane. The temperatures in the western Gulf of Mexico, in this area, are sitting right now between 85 to 90 degrees. That is very good fuel for a storm. So if Laura does make it over to the western Gulf, we could see the storm intensify significantly. Now, I'm going to let you know a few things about this track. I want to talk a little bit about Laura because there is a chance that it could have a larger impact on Texas. So you're going to notice this wide area that it's covering for Wednesday evening where it could make landfall. Pretty much anywhere from Morgan City, Louisiana, all the way over towards Galveston. Now, here's the thing. If Laura makes landfall closer to Morgan City, that's where that arrow is on your screen right now, we would have likely maybe a weak Cat 2 to a strong Cat 1 storm. If it takes more of the center of the track, headed towards Lake Charles, we could have more of a Cat 2 storm, again, what it's forecast to be. But if it hangs on the western end of this track, there is the possibility, if this storm is over water for a little bit longer, that it could be a strong Cat 2 to possibly even a Cat 3 storm. Now, what does that mean? It means that we could have a stronger storm impact southeast Texas. Now, that's not going to impact us. But if you have friends and family in the Houston area, make sure they're watching this storm closely. We want to make sure everyone stays safe and updated on this system. I think either way, that is with this track. The track can still change. But with this current track, I don't think we're going to have much impacts from Laura. It's going to kind of dip off to the north, and we're going to miss out on rain from the system, which I'm just really hoping, I'm not really worried about rain for us right now. I'm just hoping that this storm doesn't manage to intensify to a Cat 2, because that would not be good for our neighbors and friends in the Louisiana and southeast Texas coastline. So we'll continue to watch Laura closely. This track could very well change. Make sure you keep coming back for updates, guys, or wherever you get the information from. We're going to continue to give you information right here at Kent's 5. I just want to make sure that as everyone's paying attention to it. So, you know, you're always going to be able to get information from us, but just wherever you're getting it, you can also get it from the National Hurricane Center. Make sure you're getting the information, please. So again, we're going to have another storm enter the Gulf of Mexico. That would be Laura. Right now, neither of these storms are hurricanes. Neither of them are even forecast to become major hurricanes. So that's important to know. There's been some chatter on social media where some people are referring to this as two major storms in the Gulf. Neither of them are major storms. And as of right now, neither are forecast to be major storms. Now, there is a possibility that Laura could intensify more. But we'll know more after Laura comes off that western tip of Cuba. Land interaction with these storms can change so much about them. So once it comes off the western tip of Cuba, we're really going to have a better understanding of where this system could go. And really, I would expect that forecast cone to be narrowed down and to be a little more precise by the time we get to Tuesday morning. Once the Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunters and NOAA Corps, who fly out of Lakeland, Florida, you saw the Air Force Reserves flying out of Biloxi, Mississippi at Keesler, but NOAA Corps flies out of Lakeland, Florida. Once they both fly that storm Tuesday morning, the information that they gather is really going to help this cone to be as precise as possible, and we're going to have a better idea on the system. But you notice that only gives us about 48 hours before it would make landfall, Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. So something to keep in mind there. So what's steering these storms? Well, it's this area of high pressure. Again, we've been talking about the last few days, the upper level pattern helping to steer. Notice where Laura is, located here in the bottom corner, the bottom side of your screen, just in the southern side of Cuba. Watch this as it kind of shifts off to the west. That high pressure kind of guiding it up and around, making its way just to the northern tip of the Yucatan, right there by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon. The storm will then make its way off towards the north at a pretty quick pace, getting all the way up to the Louisiana and Texas coastline, right there near Sabine Pass and the Sabine River, by the time we get to 7:30 p.m. By the way, if you don't know where the Sabine River is, that's the Texas-Louisiana state line. Could make landfall right there, near Beaumont, Lake Charles, Orange, Texas. And by the time we get to 11:30 a.m., it's well inland and already over Shreveport, Louisiana. So it's not a surprise that we have some increased activity at the moment. The last 2 weeks of August and the first 2 weeks of September, that's the time period where we've had some of the most historic hurricanes and systems really in general hit the Gulf of Mexico. We're talking our Harveys, Camille, Katrina, Isaac. I believe Ike was around this time period as well. I'd have to look that up. It may have actually been October. But Ivan, you know, some of these major hurricanes that have hit the Gulf of Mexico, and while none of these are expected to be major, Marco or Laura, I'm just mentioning here that the activity increase is not a surprise right now in the Gulf. This is the time period where we usually see it. So what's the next name on the list after these? Right now we're not tracking any other tropical waves out there, but Nana would be the next name. Notice that we are well through the list, and we still have all the way through November 30th to go for hurricane season. So a lot going on, a lot to talk about. We're going to continue to keep you updated on it. Now, you'll notice we're not going to have much of an impact from a tropical system over the next 7 days. The 7-day forecast only showing the highest chance for rain as a 30 to 40% chance. That's for Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday being the highest chance for rain. Now, that's when the remnants of Marco could get a little close to our region and bring us a little bit of rain. But that's still kind of iffy, too. That's why the rain chances aren't that high, only at a 40% chance. So we'll continue to keep you updated on that, of course. Let's jump into what the future clouds and radar shows for us here in South Texas. Let's move away from the tropics a little bit, talk a little bit more about future clouds and radar for us. This is South Texas. Right now at 4:30 p.m., seeing shower activity. Not too bad. 20% chance for rain. A little bit of rain here and there for the aquifer. Could be a lot of help, right? So we make our way into this afternoon. Temperatures rise into the 90s too. That's an important thing to note. And remember, not everybody sees rain today. If you get rain, consider yourself lucky. Those rain chances are lower. By the time we get into 7 a.m. on Tuesday, 70s and 60s across the board. Moving into the afternoon, temperatures in the 90s. And we'll have a slight chance for a few brief showers, I think. Even though future clouds and radar are not showing it, I think we could see a little bit here and there. Moving into about 7 a.m. on Wednesday, temperatures in the 60s to 70s. And as we move into the afternoon, we're going to see a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity for Wednesday. So here's the rainfall forecast over the next 7 days. Less than half of an inch for all of South Texas. It is not going to be much rainfall. We may have some days that have some better chances for rain. But even if you do see rain, we're talking brief activity. Not any of that long-term heavy rainfall. If you got rain on Saturday, you know, consider yourself lucky too, because not everyone saw rain on Saturday, but a lot of us did. We saw some heavy rainfall on Saturday. It was nice. Let's look further to the east. Who's getting the rain this next week? Look at southwest Louisiana. They're talking 5+ inches of rainfall. This is by no means, I know this is around the same time period as Harvey, this is by no means going to be a similar event to Harvey. Not at all. We're talking way less amounts of rainfall. These storms are moving much quicker. They have steering. Harvey didn't have good steering, and that's why it kind of sat over Houston. So we're not talking about that kind of event. These storms are going to move quick into northern Louisiana and then southern Arkansas, and you see that 5+ inches of rainfall could be possible in southwest Louisiana from these systems. So that's a brief little update on what amounts of rainfall we're going to get. You know, some people have talked about could these form a major storm if they morph together. The answer is no. That's not really how that works. The Fuji War Effect, you've heard it probably a lot on the news recently. It's when storms interact with each other, when they come within about 750, 800 miles of each other, they'll interact sometimes. And even if you have two major hurricanes, they won't necessarily mash together and form some big storm. They'll just kind of dance around each other and spin around each other. And they could cause one to go this way and one to go this way. Think about it like a slingshot effect, like they don't hit each other. They come towards each other, and then one gets slung out here, and the other one gets slung out way over here. And it's a brief interaction. Sometimes they can get near each other, though, and spin around, and one may weaken a ton. It would take a long period of time. One may weaken a ton, and the other one does end up ingesting the remnants of that other storm. We're not talking about two major hurricanes merging together. One would weaken, and the other one would kind of take in the remnants of it. But that would actually kind of hurt the other storm, the one that survived. It would actually hurt it a little bit, to be honest, before it was able to get its act together again. It may add to moisture, but it would not make it a stronger storm. That's not how that works. So I hope that that answers a lot of questions there. I've had a lot of people asking about it over the last few days, so I'm glad that I could give a little bit of a better explanation on that too. Lauren says someone else is saying 30 inches of rain. Yeah, Lauren, I don't think anyone's going to see 30 inches of rain from this event. These storms are moving too fast. I mean, maybe they were talking about the amount of rain that was possible over Hispaniola with how slow the storm was moving at that point. But we're not going to be talking about 30 inches of rain for anybody in southwest Louisiana or southeast Texas from this storm. Again, it is just moving too quick. So I'm happy to be able to tell that to y'all. I don't think we're going to see that. You know, let me bounce back up Laura's path. So notice where it is Wednesday evening, and by Thursday morning and Thursday evening, it's already in Shreveport. That's really quick. So this system's not going to have enough time to dump a ton of rain in one spot. Now, don't get me wrong, they're still going to get a lot of rain all at once down in southwest Louisiana, but I do not expect 30 inches of rainfall. It's just not going to be moving slow enough. Thank goodness. They don't need that kind of rain down there. You know, New Orleans, I wanted to mention this yesterday, but I never got to it. New Orleans doesn't need more rain. Thankfully, a bulk of the rain is staying just on off towards their east. New Orleans is actually 10 inches above average for this time of year. Nearly 10 inches. They're not right at it, but they're nearly 10 inches above average for rainfall. Much of the state of Mississippi is well above average for rainfall. I mean, they had a ton of rain in the spring, and I'm talking some areas are already near their yearly amounts. I mean, it's crazy how much rain they've had in Mississippi this year. They've had plenty. They don't need more, but Laura could actually bring more rain. I think a lot of Marco's rain is going to stay further east. They're still going to get rain from Marco, but Laura could bring a lot of rain. So we're going to have to watch that closely. Margaret wants to know, what does that mean? We will see no rain since it's moving north rather quickly. Margaret, I think Laura's going to stay further east. And when let me try to show this on the map. So tropical systems, or tropical cyclones rather, in the northern hemisphere spin like this. So that means that the moisture on this storm is going to get drugged to the north. And you know, we have all this land up into this, you know, up to our north. So when it passes to our east, that means that we get drier air drugged down. So I'm not saying we can't see any rain at all, because if the system does get close enough, we could see some rain for our eastern counties. But right now it looks like we aren't going to see much rain from Laura. But on Thursday we have higher rain chances because Marco, the remnants of Marco, could get closer to us, and that could bring us a little bit of rain. So we're not going to see as much as what we would like to see here in South Texas. But I'm also thankful that we're not going to have another storm hit our coastline, like Corpus. You know, they've already had a storm hit them in Corpus this year, or rather it hit Port Mansfield, but still it impacted Corpus Christi a lot. They had major damage to that Bob Hall Pier, a beautiful pier out there, and a lot of boats had run aground and run into issues. You know, they need some time to recover. As much as we want some rain from tropical systems, we don't want a tropical system to make landfall on the Texas coast or really anywhere. But it would be nice if we could have maybe just a weak tropical depression, move in, and just bring a little bit of rain. But unfortunately, you can't always get exactly what you ask for. Let's just hope we can get a little bit more rain from Marco than expected, but right now, less than ½ of an inch for everybody in South Texas over the next 7 days. Melissa wants to know when the rain will get here. Let me pop up that 7-day forecast again. You know, we're going to have some chances for rain even today, Melissa. We have about a 20% chance for rain for today, a 10% chance for Tuesday, and then a 30% chance for Wednesday. If you see rain any of the next 3 days, consider yourself pretty lucky. Now, by Thursday, a 40% chance for showers and storms. That's still not the best chance for rain. If we do see any rain, it would be brief. And then by the time we head into the weekend, you see the rain chances staying low too. At least we have rain chances each day. But again, the rain chances are not expecting as much in the way of rain. I'm seeing if there's any more questions coming in, and I'm not seeing any. But guys, I hope that answers all your questions. Temperatures are going to be a little bit above average from Tuesday through Sunday. You notice average 96. That's what we're expecting for today, so not too bad. But that triple-digit heat making a comeback there for Thursday and Friday. So guys, I just want to remind you, we're going to continue to keep you updated on Marco and Laura, whether they are coming towards South Texas or not, which right now they're not. But we're going to keep you updated because we all have family and friends out towards southeast Texas, southern Louisiana, and even parts of Mississippi too. We all have friends out that direction. We all want to make sure that they stay updated as well, and we want to keep an eye on things for them too. And, you know, sometimes when tropical systems impact areas nearby, well, they can have an impact on us right here in South Texas in more ways than one. So we'll keep you updated as we head throughout the next few days. And remember that we'll be on at noon. Meteorologist Megan Massey will be doing the noon show, the latest update to the forecast. And, you know, we should get some more information about Marco and Laura within that time period. As these hurricane hunters continue to fly the storm, they're constantly gathering information. The National Hurricane Center taking that, making the more precise forecast. So you'll see even more information about the storms as we come on at noon today. Be sure to watch KENS 5 at that time. And then we'll have an update at 4, 5, 6, and 10 from Weather Chief Bill Taylor. And I'm going to be on at 4 as well, doing a little bit more of an explanation about the Fuji War Effect when these tropical systems interact with each other and how they typically do that and what that means if they ever do. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Be sure to watch at 4 for all of that information. I'm going to be working on some graphics throughout the day for that topic. So I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your Monday. We'll keep you updated on everything right here at KENS 5.